Welcome to Dr. Hood's Helping Others Overcome Determinants, LLC. Today's topic is going to be on common essential documents and clinical research concepts. We're going to discuss the concept of standard operating procedures. So, standard operating procedures are detailed step-by-step instructions for conducting routine tasks within an organization. They aim to ensure consistency, efficacy, and quality in operations by providing a transparent and standardized approach to functions. So, as the site, we create standard operating procedures to ensure patient safety and data quality. So, what's the process? We assess the need. What SOPs do we need to create to help the clinic flow smoothly, but yet ensure patient safety and data quality? So you first assess your needs. One common SOP is perhaps how you conduct the informed consenting process, how you store your charts, whether they're paper or electronic. How do we handle the test article? Do we prefer to destroy on site, or do we prefer to send the drug back to the sponsor for destruction? So these are the things that sites have to consider their needs of operation. So then after you assess your needs, you start the development process. That group can consist of your PIs, the regulatory group, the quality group, your study coordinators, or it can be one person that creates the standard operating procedures. That within itself can be a standard SOP of who is responsible for creating and updating SOPs. As you know, research continues to grow and change year after year. So what might have been beneficial 5 years ago might be considered obsolete now. So standard operating procedures are typically often updated. So once the need is assessed, the SOP is developed, then you have the implementation process. So you want to train those who the SOP is applicable to, and you want to document that training, internal documentation, to make sure everybody has a vast understanding of what are the standards for your organization. And then you implement it. Again, it could be related to IP. It could be related to how patients check in. It can be related to how you store your charts, how you record temperature, whether it's daily recording or you just have a data logger and you rely on the system. All those types of procedures are now implemented. And then after a period of time, you conduct an evaluation. Did this SOP work? Is it something we can do to make it better? Or will we keep it the same? So during that evaluation process, you see how well the implemented SOP is working and functioning for your organization, and you decide to continue on with it. So as the CRA that comes to a site, we can't change the site's SOPs. And not often, but sometimes the SOP might go against what the sponsor wants to do for a particular trial. Some sponsors might want the site to keep pills or a vial that pertain a specific drug, and it might be that site's SOP that vial needs to be destroyed, but they will keep the label but not the vial, depending on what type of medication it is, because that medication might pose a biohazard. They might prefer to always send the IP back to the sponsor for destruction because they don't have the capabilities to destroy on site. However, the sponsor may have already set up or have not set up a return capabilities for the IP because they anticipated everybody to destroy on site. So sometimes the SOP may or may not go against the sponsor's wishes or the study design, and it's our responsibility to relay that to the study team because it could be the difference of whether that site is picked to participate. So that's one of the things that should be discussed during the qualification visit. Another thing we need to do as a CRA, we need to make sure the site is following their SOPs. So if their SOP is to only allow licensed people to conduct the informed consenting process, we need to make sure that that's is what they're doing. When the site undergoes an audit or an inspection, oftentimes that person is going to also make sure that the site is following their own SOPs. So I just wanted to point that out. So the SOPs is something the CRA cannot change. They can make suggestions, but they can't force a site to change their standard operating procedures, and they can't themselves update them. Oftentimes there is a section in the investigator site file to file SOPs, but sites have so many that they don't file in that regulatory binder or on that E-reg system with that tab that says SOPs. But if they're not going to file them in that physical binder or the electronic E-reg system, there needs to be a progress note or a note to file in place to tell or direct the CRA or the auditor or the inspector where their SOPs are stored. Typically, it's in an internal shared drive or internal internal binder that they use to store their standard operating procedures. So should we need to collect, oftentimes we do have to collect SOPs related to the informed process. We have to collect SOPs related to how they handle and destroy IP. Those are typically SOPs we do have to collect for the TMF file. So the trial master file, we do collect those. So I hope I brought to your attention a little bit more information on what standard operating procedures are. Thanks for watching. Dr. Hood, and this was brought to you by Kentress Davidson, DRPH. You can find me on these platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can email me at drhoodresearch@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.